This segment of Delmarva Life is brought to you by For All Seasons Behavioral Health and Rape Crisis Center.
So, has it been the longest 2 years of your life? Everything shut down. Then we started to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Then we got shut down again. COVID has dominated the last 24 months, but our next guest says that we all need hope. As a matter of fact, it's as vital as the air we breathe. We are welcoming back to Historic Studio D in Delmarva Life, the CEO of For All Seasons. This is Beth Anne Langrell. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Absolutely. It's great to be here.
All right. We need hope, much like we need to breathe.
We do. You know, there is a skill to being able to find hope in the midst of a storm. And part of what we know is that when things are difficult and when we find ourselves in moments where we can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, we rely on hope.
It's been a roller coaster of emotions for the last 24 months.
Absolutely, you know, especially for our young people, but you know, as adults, I'm sure you can relate, you have these moments of, okay, I think I know what I'm doing. And really what we've learned over these last 2 years, you know, March 13th is the shutdown 2-year anniversary. And we have learned that what we know the most is that you have to be able to only control what you can control and let go of those uncontrolled moments. And that's where that hope and that gratitude that we really need to see ourselves through makes all the difference.
So, as grown-ups, we struggle with that a little bit.
Yeah.
If we want to plant this in our kids, how do we start?
Sure. So one of the things that I think is really important when we're talking about tooling up and skilling up our kids is being able to remember that we can lead them to the journey, but we can't plan the journey for them. And it's so important to think about that, even with our friendships and our adult relationships, that there are going to be hard moments. There are going to be times where our kids are going to struggle. And what's most important is skilling up the kids or skilling up our friends. So helping them understand how to take a step back and count to 5 if things are difficult. In the midst of the storm, one of the things that's really important is being able to know that this won't last forever. And being able to take a step back and using our brains and using our support systems to say, this is just for now. It might seem like, you know, I remember when we first started COVID and we were on day 22 and the person who was running our operations system said, I think we're going to be here on day 40. And now we're in the 600s. So we know that it looks different and we know that we need to have different skills. Right. But if we can instill that resiliency in the kids of focus on what you can control, find the good, find the hope. You know, maybe it's self-care in the morning. Maybe you know that you need a cup of tea to begin your day or to end the day. But how do we instill that even in the midst of the hard times, we know that this won't last forever?
There's another side to it.
Absolutely.
We're going to get out the other side. Is
Absolutely.
it different for adults?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that a lot of what we teach our children, you know, the difference between adults is maybe you weren't someone who was raised to learn those skills. And so sometimes it might require therapy or somebody else to be a different support system. You can always learn hope, gratitude, and joy. If you weren't someone who was raised with parents who instilled that, it's just a different learning curve, but it absolutely applies across the board.
Should we be a little forgiving of ourselves? Is it okay to get it wrong?
Oh my gosh, it is so okay to get it wrong. You know, giving yourself permission to start and restart again and again and again when you're trying something new. And what's really important too, Jim, is being able to chunk it out. You know, when we talk about things like New Year's resolutions, people get these grand ideas of what they're going to do. Start with a week. You know, give yourself a 7-day plan of waking up and saying, I'm going to be grateful for, and then give yourself the permission when you're trying something new to not do it right and not beat yourself up over it.
Right.
Don't make it so personal that you lose your momentum to begin again.
It's okay to start again because you're going to start again.
Absolutely.
You don't lose unless you don't get back up again.
And if you are doing something new, you know, the other thing to remember is that what works for you might not work for me. And so while we can share ideas with one another, you really have to figure out what skills and tools work best for you. Okay. You know, you might be somebody who says, I need my half hour at the end of the day, and I might say, I need that half hour in the morning to start my day off in this way. And so, you know, taking advice from folks is okay, and sharing advice and talking different things through, but being able to know that you have to figure out what works for you best, and it might not be what somebody else is doing.
But in the process of sharing with somebody else, be kind.
Oh, goodness. You know, if we can lead with kindness and just take a moment to say an extra thank you, or to consider that maybe somebody is responding to you in a way because there's more going on than what we know.
Yeah.
You know, I always say that our mental health is not something that's seen on the outside. If you break your arm, I'm going to see your cast and know that you have a broken arm. But it really is a matter of us giving people the grace and space to say, there might be something else going on. This might not have anything to do with me today, but if we can extend kindness, if we can extend just a kind word to people, what a difference it could make for that person. And that might be the moment of hope that they need in their day.
And everybody's better off.
Absolutely, absolutely.
There you go. There's the truth. The CEO for All Seasons, Beth Anne Langrell, thank you so much.
Absolutely, thank you.